Welcome to Operation Rumansiev. We are going to be playing as the SS Das Reich division in this fight, and we've already got quite a few units set up at the Kommunar position. This is just a tiny village, but it's on the edge of one of our actual tank blitzkriegs, and the Soviet army is trying to push through and, of course, stop that blitz. We cannot allow that to happen, my friends. So I'm just taking a look here quickly at the map. It looks like most of the attack is going to be concentrated here, but of course, we've seen that before, and it's turned out not to be true in previous fights, so you never really know. In this case, I am going to position my units in this area. In fact, most of these tank units are dug in, so we can set up a really nice defense here. And I think it's fair to keep those units right there. We're going to keep some of these SDKFZs maybe as reserve units. Maybe even over here. It's a bit of a strange position, but I think this would actually be pretty good if we decide to go on some sort of an attack. And even though we are defending in this area in Operation Korotich, which is why we're dug in, this could very easily turn into a counterattack situation. At least, I'm hoping it turns into a counterattack situation. So as you can see here, let's press play. And this is a naturally fortified location. It's got a ton of actual trenches here, trenchworks all over the damn place, and it looks like we're going to have some fog, mud, and blood during this fight. That's not so good for the tanks, but hopefully it will be good in terms of surprising the enemy. I'm going to just face that beauty right there forward. The beauty herself. I mean, just absolutely wonderful tanks here during this fight in Operation Rumansiev. This is one of the DLCs available for Graviteam Tactics Maya's front, so consider picking it up. As always, folks, we'll return when the combat begins. So I'm also spreading some of our scout units here through this tiny town of Kommunar. The reason being, I want to see if from these buildings we can't spot some enemies. Looks like the enemy saw that movement, and they've certainly opened up there with a little bit of artillery. And you know what? There's no need to keep the supply truck here either. I'll try to get him out, although we could lure the enemy in. Yeah, you see the guys are pretty much shedding up in what was the old political building for the Soviets. Just awaiting a possible enemy attack. Right now, it's just artillery. Let's see if that changes. And of course, we've got Batos and the rest of the tank company waiting for any possible enemy attacks here. In fact, I'm going to move this fellow up just a bit. Just one of our guys. Mein Gott! Oh boy. Yeah, they definitely want to kick us out of the trench. Devastating Soviet artillery there. I knew those trucks were going to be in danger, but if they just destroy a few supply trucks and we destroy a tremendous amount of their infantry, we'll be just fine with that situation. Let's take a look all around. I'm not spotting any enemies so far, but you'll be the first to hear about it, my friends. Tanks are spotted, but not where we were expecting them. They're actually approaching east of our location. The same goes for the enemy infantry. They're basically approaching behind us. So I'm actually going to order this tank out, this particular tank out, and we'll probably try to get a few more to head over here. Although, most of them have caught on, at least those in this location, and seem to be targeting enemy infantry at range. Let's hope this continues. Come on, boys. We're going to have to take on their armor right there, though. We've got Batos right in the front. I'm going to try to push through the village here of Kommunar. But it's pretty clear to me that we're going to have to send support to this village. So let's grab, for instance, these tanks right there. And it looks like we might have some more units over here. But I'm going to send this tank unit in a assault in that general direction. I hate the buildings. They're currently getting in the way of our tanks. But it is what it is, and of course this village location is unbelievably important. It's not one we want to lose at all. So hopefully Bartels can get through. It looks like he can. He's not having much difficulty there. The question is, can we hit those tanks, and what are we facing? Oh boy, are those Su-152s? I believe they are Su-152s, and I'm not very good with my tanks, so I'll probably be corrected here. But in any case, let's start attacking in that direction. These are tank hunters, of course. Alright, look at this. The damn town is on fire. The whole town is on fire just from this fight. And hopefully we can start knocking out some of these Su-152s right now. I think the infantry is more or less under control. I'm not really seeing that as a problem. In fact, even just these 2 infantry divisions can probably hold them off long enough. Well, they have taken some hits. You can just see the tracer rounds going in there. Come on, Bartels. Bartels. Let's go. We're gonna have to get even closer here. Looks like one of our tanks is already firing. Okay, let's hold. Let us hold this position right here. Come on, one hit. One hit. Yeah, they're raw. Panzer 6. Is it a Tiger or a Panther? Let us know in the comments down below. This is one I at least know. Ooh, direct hit. Not so sure I like that. Yep, he's burning up. Just a direct hit at that distance did not work out for us. Okay, it looks like Bartels is through. But not exactly getting the hits we were looking for. They are abandoning the vehicle. Right now, these Su-152s are clearing house, guys. Oh, man, keep your eyes forward. Gotta try to knock out a few of these. We still got Herzl. Quite a few of these tanks, actually, trying to get out here and do some damage, of course. Look at that Su-152. Let's see if Herzl can get a shot. Come on, man. At least some of our scouts are hidden, but not all of them. Looks like that the damn tree line is making it very hard for us to get a decent shot right through any tanks. Let's look forward. Looks like we've got a target. Why do you not do what I tell you, Herzl? It's okay, there's actually a delay on orders. Holy hell. Nice. Got a really nice hit right there. Unfortunately, all of our tanks that went into the town itself have been destroyed. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. At this point, we're just trying to make up for the lost tanks, try to knock out some of the Su-152s. I don't want him leaving, but this tank is trying to get out of here. May have knocked out one of their tanks there. Not 100% sure, but I'm not seeing him. Scheiße. Okay, more tanks on the way. So we've got Panthers and Tigers, because we've got Panzer 5s and Panzer 6s. So we've got Tigers and Panthers in this fight, and the Russians are still outclassing us. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Stop right here. Just stop right there with Herzl. Last thing we need is the leader getting wiped out. And we do have a spotter that can call in artillery. The problem is the spotter is all the way over here. So obviously his help is going to be limited, to say the least. I'm not even going to really call in arty with that particular spotter. As for Wiedenbroek, you know what? We might as well send them forward. We've sent the rest of our tanks forward, and it hasn't been a mistake, at least towards the end of this fight, but we'll see if they have any more armor to send this way. A few of them I am going to keep in their trenches, but most of my men I actually did bring out, because otherwise they would have gotten that side attack on us, that flank attack, which would have been just an instant kill. Don't back up. What are you doing? Alright, looks like we've got some Soviet infantry out there in the steppe. I'll try to get eyes on it with the SDKFCs. Our little scout team over here, and they should be able to open fire, start wasting some Soviets at range. Look at the guns these things have, too. No wonder the enemy tank was destroyed in front here. In fact, I might send this guy forward and try to hit the enemy armor. Damn it. Reverse. We still hold Communar, and that's certainly important. And it looks like we do have 2 tanks over here. I thought these guys were killed, but looks like they both survived. I'm just going to hold my position because he seems to be getting some very nice shots on whatever the hell that is out there. We'll get a closer look here in a minute. Why would you turn? Just keep facing forward, you fool. Yep, another Su-152. Get over here. So, of course, our scouts are really responsible for holding the enemy infantry at bay right now. I'm going to do the same with Hetzel and Weisner. They're both probably going to have to leave this location. For now, we're just using this fellow to try and hold the enemy off. Lots of officers approaching. I would love to have that artillery spotter closer, but we just misjudged where we would need to actually use him. I wanted to keep him near our weaker infantry positions in case they tried to be overrun, but I was not expecting the enemy to have this many tanks. Not even sure the artillery would be particularly effective against these Su-152s, to be honest with you. Get to target. Damn it. Get to target. This gun could technically take out some of the enemy Su-152s, although it would have to be a lucky shot and likely through the side. Let's see how these guys are doing. And he's well in his trench, damn. I think they definitely wiped out that other one over here. So now what about we try to get behind the enemy? Easier said than done, I think. Fortunately, one of our tanks here just kind of rolling off into the enemy lines. One of the Panthers sort of abandoned here. Come on, come on. Got to try to get hits. I'm gonna try to face forward. At least not get shot through the side here. So Steikov, I believe, can actually call in a little bit of arty. I'm not sure how useful it's going to be, but we are going to try to drop it pretty much right there. Damn it, there we go. Maybe something like that. High explosive. Let's do it. Ready. Preparing. Alright, guys. Hopefully that artillery strike pays off. And we managed to get a pretty good hit here because at this point the enemy's definitely overrunning us. The Soviet charge is working. And usually we've gotten pretty good at this game as to where we don't have to worry too much about the Soviet charge. But when it's followed up by armor like this, they're doing a damn good job. Not just regular armor, but Su-152 assault guns. These things are made for killing tigers and panthers. So we are on safari here, and not in a good way. Let's hope that he can get that shot, and I really don't want them to get the shot on him before he calls it in. So I am going to get a bit aggressive here and push forward with Weisner, and maybe try and knock out the enemy armor right there. For now, the scouts are entirely responsible with holding the enemy off. I haven't heard any... Oh, there we go. I was about to say. Haven't heard any gunshots, but it's also because there's been massive tank combat going on this entire battle. There we go. He's right there. Get him. He is right there, guys. It's an easy kill for the Tiger. I think we got him. We got him, guys. No, maybe not. It's like Jaws. You see him, you see them shoot the shark, but he still keeps swimming in the water. He is not dead. Not by a long shot. Pun totally intended there. Come on now. Need you to focus forward. I don't know why you're not following orders, Weissner. We do have a tank here too. And again, with all of the things going on the field, it just seems that they're not spotting him. It might be the smoke. I'm not sure what it is. There we go. Direct hit right up close and personal. But was it enough to kill the beast? I don't know. It looks like he just hit him right through the back armor here. This is a pretty awkward situation in battle, but there we go. We've got some grenades being thrown in. And I think our infantry are actually trying to assist here in wiping that unit out. We've also got another Su-152 right in front of us. And Elter might be able to spot one, too. Come on, Elter. Actually look in the direction of the enemy tank. Feuer, Weissner. Weissner's popping smoke. Makes sense when you've got an enemy unit right there. Ooh! Right through the side. Do not give up, Weissner. Do not give up. Oh boy. One of our guys here just took a nasty hit. A perfect visual on the enemy. He just has to go ahead and take the risk of taking a shot. And unfortunately, this tank is staying put. There's nothing we can do with him. Oh no, he's been abandoned. What am I talking about? I thought that he was maybe still in action. Not the case at all. Look at those Soviets creeping up with their tanks as well. Very disconcerting. Right, there we go. I think Weissner is trying to go for the shot here. Look towards him and shoot him. He's been hit so many times already, not to be honest. I mean, at the very least, let's try to get a decent shot on him. But look at this. Looks like an additional Soviet infantry assault over here. Yeah, this is very much the Eastern Front. This battle absolutely lets us know that. And trying to actually go after our supply trucks in this area. Although I think for the crux of this battle, we're going to focus on the main front. Let's just hope that the Wehr units we've left back here can hold off the worst that the Soviets have to throw at us. Hetzel. And there we go. Is he abandoned too? Yep. Destroyed. So quite a few of our armor pieces here are completely destroyed. Incredibly, the artillery caller is still calling in the arty. We might still get some drops, but the enemy has retaken the Communar area. You still have a few tanks as well. Not over here. We've got Elter over here, and we've got some tanks with the other group. So what I might do is grab them. This is Barthel's group. And charge right into Communar. And that's exactly what I'm going to try to do. Alleviate the situation. Maybe we can still come out on top. Who knows? Unfortunately, another one of our tanks up in smoke. I get the feeling they're going to have destroyed a lot more of our tanks than vice versa, but we have destroyed quite a few of their Su-152s. Just a true tank battle. Really just a mix of both, tank and infantry here. I think this one really represents the Eastern Front combat quite well. Why are you looking this way, you fool? Let's actually get Jodl and Wiedenbroek to charge in as well. Nice! Finally, a wonderful kill there. That's what I'm talking about. That is wonderful. The question is, can we take back Communar? Everything for this little town is what we've given so far. Herzl could still be a threat. I'd just love him to look out this way, so I'm going to direct him to look in that direction. Could take a while, of course. Especially here in Rumyantsev, the orders seem to be a little more rare. Okay, hold on a second. Our artillery is striking, but once again, in true Graviteam fashion, it's a bit off range. So we called it in over here. It's striking over here. It might still creep in a bit. We don't know. And we took back Communar. This is where if they would actually give us some support, we had some supporting units, I should say, and the enemy offered us a ceasefire, this would be a perfect time to take one. Because I don't know if we can deal with all those Su-152s, but maybe that's the worst they have to offer. And we are steaming towards that position with more tanks, so perhaps we'll be just fine. Sehr gut. Egger is keeping his eyes out there because we do still have, of course, the enemy infantry. But what we'll do is actually take the SDKFZs here and have them go after the enemy targets in the open field, just because they're so in the open. I'm just hoping that they're going to be able to take out that anti-tank gun fairly quickly. So let's send them out there. They're going to start firing at some point, and we should be able to hold the enemy off entirely. At least in that area. I'm not talking about the Communar area. The whole damn town is on fire. Yes. Whoa! Just in time! Another one down. Doesn't want the crew to escape. We just hit it right through the back. The crew tried to escape, and our tanker wasn't having it. This is 5, so this is Panther, no? I think Tiger is a 6. Again, guys, I'm not claiming to know tanks very well at all, so make sure to correct me if I'm wrong. I believe this one is the Panther. For us a ceasefire. You know you're not going to get Communar this turn. It's just not going to happen. We both lost enough tanks and men to it. Let's put an end to this madness. And they've actually taken off some of the shielding from our track there. These guys are good, man. They're not afraid to get up close and personal. I think that might be their last 152, though. I really hope it is. Let's take a look over here, see how our SDKFCs are doing. Look at that beautiful line. That's what I like to see. Just a good old firing line here, targeting those units in the open. Let me take a look there at the AT position. Nice. They do seem mildly suppressed. That guy in the middle is definitely suppressed. These guys not so much, and these guys are firing away. So they're a deadly threat to our SDKFCs. That Soviet buggy just in the middle of nowhere. Got Nebelwerfers here, and the enemy is gonna hit these Nebelwerfers if we're not careful. Come on, come on. Get him with the damn AT gun. Maybe just by firing at this thing with some rifles, they will abandon. It's such a weak vehicle. And we see one of the bullets just went through. We saw some blood pop up. Let's hope just continuous fire will make these guys abandon the vehicle. Somebody needs to get a shot. Scheisse is right. And look at this. A whole lot more enemies sort of popping out of the woods here. Now, we are sending some infantry assault forward as well because they are attached to these SDKFZs. So I'm just going to let them do their thing. It does seem like we could do pretty well against that large group. That's the idea anyway. And at least the smoke is more or less covering up the location of our vehicles, so it doesn't look like they can hit us. Hopefully, it doesn't look like they can hit us with the AT guns. It also looks like our artillery is finally coming in a little bit closer. I wanted to place it properly, and occasionally they get the placement perfect, occasionally they don't. I don't know what has to do with it. I think it probably has to do a lot with visuals, the ability to actually see the target, the morale level, all that fun stuff. Oh no, Group Piper surrendered. We have not had men surrender in a long time in our fights. That doesn't make me happy.
Infantry!
You can see them popping smoke now, but those are some impressive artillery strikes. Again, I would feel extra happy if we were able to take out the AT guns. Just stop that threat from any of our other units, of course. Let's take a look here at Communal, our main location. We are holding the city, but again, enemies everywhere. We finally got that SU-152, and it looks like the tank commander is just kind of crawling around. Seem to be offering supporting fire to that fight over there, so why not? Let's let Wegeler do his thing. Wegeler? No. You know what? I'm going to send him out here. Just make sure that there are no more surprises. Look at that. Getting wonderful, wonderful streaming shot down right on top of these enemies. Both officers. Good shot. One down. Can't outrun a machine gun, boys. Not usually, anyway. Maybe in the Indiana Jones films. Young Indiana Jones, where he outruns the machine gun. Yeah, there you can. Here, not so much. Alright, let's see how that offensive, that tiny counteroffensive is progressing. It's not really a small counteroffensive, but in the grand scheme of this battle, it is pretty tiny. Oh boy. This is where things get dangerous for the SDKFZ crews. Did they survive that? Let's have... I think the driver died. Yeah, driver is dead. Maybe the two front crew are dead. But one of those guns, I think, is destroyed. The other one has a dead crew. That's what we're looking for, folks. Well, one crewman, anyway. And he's no threat. Yeah, our guys are panicking a bit. Oh no, he's still a threat. He's still a threat. See if we got him with that stream of fire. Yeah, I think we did. I think we finished him off. Oh my goodness, that's the Nebelwerfer. That is the Nebelwerfer! That was great to see that thing in action, man. Just a little shot from the Nebelwerfer, but what a beauty. Look at that. Wow. Now we see the extent of this offensive. Got one of these guys leaking fuel, never a good thing on any vehicle. But hopefully he can keep that machine gun going for quite a while. Leaking fuel is just bad. Come on, give us a ceasefire. Good shot. You can see the blood pooling at the bottom of the vehicle is also a sign that this guy has been hit, or some of the men in this group have been hit.
Wo kommt das denn her?
Scheiße! I hear that Nebelwerfer. Although it's not working where we want it to, I really need that Nebelwerfer focused over here. I'm going to see if I can't turn the focus of all these groups here and just target this area. And there we go. Enemy is offering that ceasefire. Maybe it's because we turned the Nebelwerfers towards them. I want to make sure that we still hold on to that position. Captured a few Soviets. That's always good, but I want to make sure we're holding on to the Kommunar position. It is completely on fire, though. Talk about a city at siege. I mean, practically siege warfare. Just fighting over that tiny little village. Calling it a city, but it's just a village. Every single person in that village is affected by this conflict. There's no doubt about that. Look at the nice fire. This is why they're asking for a ceasefire. We're getting some excellent shots, and I don't intend to stop right now, at least. I was going to say anytime soon, but considering our own casualties, I might give them the benefit of the doubt here. Also got a lot of infantry units getting engaged here in close combat. Although it would be nice to bring one of the Panthers over and try to further damage the foe. You can see enemies over here too. They're just all over this map. We often see these massive Soviet attacks, but we don't often see them all over the map. That's what's happening here. They're all coming from the crossroads, and there are a bunch of them. Let's send Zito over here too, to start sending a few of the boys here, even though they've been through hell and back. I want to see if we can't increase casualties. Might be hard for him to even get out of this place. Vegara is still firing at these groups over here. Mostly, I think, just, you know, basically tank vehicle crew that have abandoned their vehicles, pretty much. Maybe a few infantry units, but nothing to write home about. Look at that. Even though he's been totally destroyed, he got back in and is using that machine gun to spray the enemy. Wow. Wow! Right up the backside. Again, ideally, we would get the enemy to retreat from this area. We've already sacrificed a lot in terms of armor, so that's why I'm not too keen on the ceasefire just yet. Not until we do some additional damage to the troops there. The problem is now, most of the troops are hidden in this strip, and of course that makes it a little harder for us to reach them, for us to reach out and touch them, as it were, because they are in cover. So really going for those guys out in the open is going to be a key. Patch yourself up, Heinrich. It's not that bad. It's just a flesh wound. And again, guys, you're usually extremely receptive to these Gravitine Tactics videos. So if you enjoy this and you want to see more, you know what to do. I don't even have to tell you. The only thing I would ask is let your friends know. Share around. You know, share on Facebook, social media. It really helps. Now I'm gonna go for a push on the woods. I think we've got enough infantry here to be pretty effective, try to capture some Soviet commanders. So let's go ahead and just do a straight, normal attack. Those Nebelwerfers are definitely focusing on their line. Survival first in this game, remember that. Your units will defend themselves if they have to. If enemies are in front of your units and you order them to fire somewhere else, they're probably not going to pay attention to your orders. And this is the other thing I'm worried about. There are other enemy positions that we're discovering over here. So, for instance, we saw units right there, they could have an entire line set up here on the way to Communar. You see what I'm saying, guys? So this is a little bit of a risky situation. You know, they could be waiting for us in that wood and pretty much just ambush us. I'm already seeing some additional units as we're approaching. We'll keep the push, but this is dangerous territory.
Mach das Arschloch fertig!
Just wanted to see what the battlefield looked like there, without any markers, and it still looks pretty bad. Look at that, man. You would see this kilometers away, miles away for sure. Tappelt. Alright, Tappelt with his machine gun. Hopefully you can make a difference here, Tappelt. Every time we think that the enemy units have stopped, they send an entirely new group, or just an entirely new group appears here. Let's see how this attack is going. The spearhead of the attack is right here. Is that a rifle grenade? I think it is. Surrender while you can, enemies. Let's back up just a little bit, see what we're working with here. So we've got machine gun. But other than that, it's really mostly small arms fire at this point in the battle. Unless we're talking about this area, where we do actually have, you know, a nice group of machine guns. But since most of our SDKFCs, if not all of them, in that attack have been destroyed, the actual progress against the enemy here is going to be pretty slow, I think. Again, could be wrong. I've been wrong before. And it is true that our men are getting over there very quickly, but we're also seeing enemy smoke being dropped, and I think my my hunch of the enemy having units in this forest is true.
Nimm das, Ivan!
He's being really cautious. Considering those are spotter units or scout units, they know to be cautious. That's pretty much what they're known for, is, of course, number one, retrieving information, but also just being careful as they approach an enemy position and get that information. If they were too obvious, they would be killed immediately. So, again, they are approaching with caution, and considering the smoke, I think that's probably a good idea. Let's see how this approach is going. A lot of our men getting hit here. Some of them are getting to the edge of that forested area, but not without a hell of a fight, of course. Look at all the downed Soviets here, though. We've already hit quite a few. And even quite a few here in the woods. It's making me think that maybe we should accept that ceasefire offer. A few of the enemy are actually getting in here to where our SDKFC, not our SDKFCs, our Nebelwerfers are, etc. And that is troubling too. It doesn't seem to be a lot of the units either. And it looks like almost entirely all of our Nebelwerfer action has been across that area. Would have been great had we put one of the Nebelwerfers right here. I mean, that would have just worked out tremendously for us. Seeing that attack play out in real time is pretty awesome. Here we go. Look at that. What did I tell you guys? I already saw an officer. I know for sure they're here. Look at that. Officer right there. He killed one of our machine gunners. We threw a bundle grenade. Oh! Man, what did I tell you guys? So sure enough, we have enemy activity for sure in the woods here as we're breaking through. But we also have a lot of enemy officers here ahead of us. So if we can make this work, we can come home as heroes of the fatherland. Look at that. Enemy machine gun groups, mortar groups, etc. Anti-tank rifles. Looks like that's actually going pretty well. Now I kind of wish I had brought those final tanks, but thankfully Herzl and the rest of the tanks, they're watching our front lines here. So the enemy's actually trying to hit the flank of this attack. I can't call this an attack, a counterattack, or a defense. This battle has been a mix of everything, pretty much. It's just been a reactionary fight, reacting when necessary. Oh boy, one of our guys just took a hit. If the machine gunner goes down, I will call it off. Still got some Soviets here. Nice! Damn, yeah. They've got some snipers there, I think, working overtime, all things considered. And each second, that ceasefire looks more and more delicious. Like, you know, it might not be such a bad idea, especially since this attack is now petering out. I don't think we can make it all the way to the crossroads. Right now, I'm just trying to maximize casualties, but that's not a good idea, considering that if we push through here with infantry, we're going to be the ones taking more casualties, that's for sure. So I'll let them fire, of course, at range. We've stopped the enemy from taking Communar, which is the most important thing, of course, under any circumstances, and we'll accept that ceasefire. As always, I want to thank everybody for watching the video. If you've gotten this far, please leave a comment, even if it's just what side you like more, German or Soviet. Just drop that in the comments. The actual algorithm here on YouTube really prioritizes channels with likes and comments. So if you can do that for the channel, and that's all you can do, it helps us tremendously. Alright, a hell of a fight there. One well fought, and it's going to be a draw. And I think that's... I've never seen a more fair draw. Now, in terms of vehicles, I actually thought we had lost far more vehicles than the enemy. Not the case. It looks like we destroyed 25 enemy vehicles, or unless this actually could be potentially what the enemy destroyed, that would make sense. Either way, it's not looking too bad on our side. In terms of the actual casualties, 41 killed on our side, 43 killed on the enemy side, with a bunch of wounded and a few prisoners on both sides. 24 for our guys, 48 for theirs. The reason that happens is with the draw, or with a ceasefire in general, it allows us to get the wounded off the field. So those men that are heavily wounded aren't necessarily fatally wounded if they get to a field hospital in time. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you on the next Graviteam Tactics Mayas Front video. If you're looking for the particular DLC that this battle is involved in, it's Operation Rumantsev. Rumyantsev.